Canada has officially been ranked the #1 most loved country in the world. That's right, the study from World Atlas found that Canada ranked the highest in the world for its international reputation due to its natural beauty, safety, and multiculturalism. And below Canada, Norway, Sweden, Switzerland, and Australia rounded up the list of the top 5 most loved countries in the world.
Yeah, welcome back again to my channel, and before we get started, make sure you hit the subscribe button for more fascinating stories about Canada, about America, and the rest of the world. Folks, today we are taking a closer look at something that has been quietly happening online. More and more people from around the world are falling in love with Canada. Whether it's the breathtaking scenery, the welcoming atmosphere, or the unforgettable experiences visitors keep sharing across the world, Canada's reputation seems to be growing stronger every day. So, stay tuned as we watch these videos and find out why so many people just can't stop talking about this beautiful nation called Canada.
Good morning, happy Tuesday. Look at this beautiful sunrise we have. And it is a fabulous day. I have to send my congratulations out to the Canadian athletes who just brought home a silver medal in speed skating. So congratulations, well done. But you know what? Congratulations to all the Olympians, I shouldn't say. You know, to be at the height of your sport, to be picked for your Olympic team is such an astronomical achievement. I mean, for those of us who did their Pilates machine yesterday and have sore abs, you know, it just makes you joke. Many of us are this fit compared to these athletes who are just superhumans almost, you know? They're incredible. So congratulations to everybody competing this year in the Winter Olympics. And on that note, my winter day is going to be warmer. Hey, we're nearly in the positives. In fact, we may even get there today. Talk to you tomorrow. Bye.
What makes Canada a great country? It's a great country for everyone. It's the greatest country in the world to be a regular person. You don't have to be born rich or to a landed family here. You don't have to be a certain color or worship a certain God. Canadians believe in the value of every other Canadian. Their boundless potential to make this great country even better. Our ancestors, despite their differences, believed in each other and in us. Now, there are long periods of history where these values can prosper unchallenged. Ours is not one of them. Our values must be fought for. That's what we are doing. That's what Canadians want. Canadians are up for it.
Hi, Canada. We need to have a little conversation. I'm going to say this plainly. Mark Carney is the right man for the job right now. And the people losing their minds about it is proving exactly why. Canada is not weak. Canada does not suck. And we do not need to burn down our institutions just because a very loud minority of Canadians are addicted to grievance politics. Now, no leader is ever going to 100% align with 100% of your beliefs. And even having that expectation isn't principled, it's childish. What matters right now is competency, stability, understanding how power, markets, geopolitics, all of those things and how they work. Now, this nonstop Canada is broken rhetoric, this all started during COVID, and you know, the Maple MAGA crowd has been carrying the flag for this ever since. Now, that talking point, that's a gift-wrapped talking point for foreign interference. Because what it does is it undermines trust, it stokes resentment, and number one, it convinces people that our country isn't worth defending. But that's the playbook. We need to stop pretending that constant cynicism is patriotism, because it's not. It's destabilizing, it's very unserious, and it's very easy to manipulate. We don't need louder outrage. We need adults who understand the stakes and remember what it is to be Canadian.
Canada, we did it. 4-nation champions and against the United States. With all that smack talk down the States, you know we weren't about to let that slide. Hockey is a Canadian thing, and the entire country shut down for this game. No work, no school, just pure unfiltered hockey obsession because we take this sport seriously. It's not just a game, it's who we are. And this team, they gave us everything. The grit, the heart, the class. They fought for every puck, every inch of that ice, and they brought home the cup. To every single player on that roster, thank you. You didn't just win for yourselves, you won for every Canadian at a time we needed it. This is our game, and tonight we proved it again. 4 nations champs, baby. And we're just getting started. Bring on the Olympics.
I don't think Trump's realized how badly he's messed up declaring a trade war on Canada at the same time that Mark Carney has taken over. Like, people didn't like Justin Trudeau, and I understand why. While he was this kind of classic sort of liberal kind of thing, things generally got worse in Canada if you look at the numbers, even if I personally think he was an alright guy. Trump wants to do a trade war with Mark Carney, guy with a master's and doctorate in economics, guy who governed the Bank of Canada during the 2008 financial crisis, one of the worst economic crises in world history, give or take. Guy was in charge of a bank and made it out. Then went on to lead the Bank of England, so governing a huge financial body in the world's 7th largest economy. Guy whose job is making and preserving and moving around money for their benefit. Mark Carney against Trump. This is a guy who's managed to bleed $4 trillion out of the stock market in the last 30 days just by being there and being a buffoon. You think you're going to win a trade war against Mark Carney, Donald? Really? Main reason that Trump is always going to lose is because he's surrounded by long-term politicians, long-game politicians. People like Mark Carney, Keir Starmer, even Xi Jinping, people who are actually educated and actually know how to think in the next 5, 10, 20 years, 50 years, rather than just how are people going to feel about me next month? And that's why Trump is always going to lose in the long run. Yeah, of all the people you could go up against for a trade war, you chose what? The guy who used to be in charge of banks during a financial crisis. You're cooked, Donald.
The Liberal Party of Canada are the Democrats of the Canadian political system. And the people that most ardently support the Liberal Party are the blue MAGA of the Canadian political system. Does that make sense? I'm not saying they are a perfect one-to-one. What I'm describing here, though, is the dynamic currently. Because tell me why. I saw a video from an ardent Liberal supporter attacking someone farther to the left, big shock, for criticizing Mark Carney. They were upset that a political journalist criticized a politician. Talk a lot about the Americanization of Canadian politics and Canadian political discourse, but this is such a great example of it. In the context of US politics, a dynamic you will often see is that anybody on the left who tries to criticize the Democrats gets attacked by what is known as blue MAGA. And even if the person they are attacking is in agreement with them on most things, they're just a little bit farther politically to the left, those blue MAGA people will accuse them of being secret Republicans, secret conservatives, spoilers, people who just want to ruin the election. And we see the exact same dynamic happening in Canadian politics. I criticize all politicians because politics isn't team sports. It's public service. If you are a politician, you are accountable to me and everybody else who pays taxes. I'm allowed to say whatever the hell I want about you. But every time I criticize a liberal politician, I have blue MAGA Canadians in my comments saying, you're a secret conservative, you want Pierre Poilievre to win. Oh, well, it would have been so much worse with Pierre Poilievre. Guys, And there's a lot more I could say on this topic. Like, really, I could go forever, but I want to keep this short. So I'll leave you with this. Fear of open conflict is one of the pillars of white supremacy. And if you are Canadian and you think what's happening in the States could never happen here, baby, we're already walking towards it. We're already right at the edge. So, like, let's wake up and let's stop punching farther left, and let's instead hold hands and come together and, I don't know, think with our brains.
Hi, Donald, a Canadian woman here. I see what you did to Jasmine Mooney. You detained her, you humiliated her, and you terrorized her. I, along with millions of other Canadian women, will not stand for it. You think you know Canada. You throw out names like Gordie Howe and Wayne Gretzky. Sure, they're great hockey players, but so too are Hayley Wickenheiser and Marie-Philippe Poulain. And while we're at it, Canada's a soccer nation too. Christine Sinclair isn't just Canada's best soccer player, she's the best in the world. Arts and entertainment, we have Margaret Atwood, Celine Dion, and Sandra Oh. Now, somebody you may not have heard of is Viola Desmond. Viola kicked off her shoes and the first civil rights movement in all of North America. She was Rosa Parks before there was a Rosa Parks. And I want to remind you of Nicola Goddard. She was the first woman in the Canadian forces to die in combat. And Donald, she died fighting in Afghanistan, supporting American troops against the very terrorists who attacked your soil on 9/11. We are accomplished and kind. But Donald, we also make big decisions. Did you know that Canadian women account for 75% of all consumer spending in Canada? Canadian women have a $1.2 trillion influence on our economy. We choose the vacations, we pick the brands, and we invest in the future. But here's the thing, Donald. We don't invest in bullies. And Donald, don't forget, we've been here before. Laura Secord, a woman with no title, no army, no backing, walked 30 kilometers through enemy lines to warn British forces of an American attack. Donald, a Canadian woman defeated you in the War of 1812, and Canadian women are her legacy. So, before you come for Canadian women again, remember this, Donald. We forgive, but we do not forget.
Nobody's talking about the fact that Canada is absolutely winning right now. Justin
Nobody's talking about it because it's not true. More people than ever are unemployed, or the jobs that they do have barely make the bills. I work oil and gas. Work in oil and gas or mining for 8 years now, steadily making over 100 grand a year since 2017. And you know, yeah, there were some bad probably spending choices on my part, but even now it's a struggle to get ahead. I had to get a second job, actually. Your video said unemployment, only 20 million people are on unemployment. Well, that's half our population. Yeah, it's not great. Interest rates are through the roof. Our money has no buying power whatsoever. Inflation, because it doesn't show printed money to solve all our problems and start projects that he can't finish. Yeah, no, we're not winning up here. We're surviving. For a first world Western civilization, we're scraping by. I'm fortunate enough that I have a higher paying job than most, but even still, it's not like I'm way ahead by any means, and that's true for most of the people out here working. So yeah, maybe looks like sunshine and roses down there. Maybe you're making this video because people like me know the truth, experiencing it, and we'll stitch this to get you more views and more dollars in your pocket, which power to you, buddy. But yeah, that's some serious misinformation right there. Alright, have a good night.
Hawaii, we've been waiting for you. Hawaii supports Canada as well. Trust me when I say most Americans love Canada, have nothing against you. It's a small, loud minority that's talking negatively right now.
Want to see a Canadian hospital bill? Oh shit. And also, to all you Americans, I bet you can't do this. Money. Water. We only have one God, and that is Tim Horton.
Canada recognizes the state of Palestine. We offer our full partnership in building the promise of a peaceful future for both the state of Palestine and the state of Israel. Excellencies, Canada is under no illusions that this recognition is a panacea. This recognition is, however, firmly aligned with the principles of self-determination and fundamental human rights in the UN Charter, and it is fundamentally consistent with the policy of the Canadian government for generations. We take this action as part of a coordinated effort led by France and Saudi Arabia, a coordinated effort to provide the possibility of peace and a two-state solution. Recognizing the state of Palestine, led by the Palestinian Authority, empowers those who seek peaceful coexistence and the end of Hamas. It doesn't legitimize terrorism. And in no way does it compromise Canada's steadfast support for the state of Israel, its people, and their security, because that security can only be ultimately guaranteed through the achievement of a comprehensive two-state solution.
This shouldn't be allowed in Canada. If you're an immigrant coming from whatever religious belief that you have, or you were born in this country and hold a religious belief that isn't Christianity, you should know that this is a Christian country first. The Canadian values are built on those Christian principles. And
Let's get one thing straight. Canada is part of Turtle Island. Turtle Island is native land. The people who were here from time immemorial were not Christians. European settlers brought Christianity over when they colonized Turtle Island. Now in Canada, that's predominantly the French and the English. They then proceeded to force Christianity on Indigenous people through things like missionary colonies, residential schools, stripping them of their culture, their customs, their heritage, and replacing it with European values, which of course included Christianity. So no, Canada is not a Christian country, and it is perfectly fine not to be a Christian. And for reference, what he's complaining about here was the mosque in Saskatchewan that was broadcasting their call to prayer over their speakers. Because apparently it's a problem when Muslims do that, but it's not a problem when church bells ring.
I keep saying Canada's winning the trade war. I've been saying it ever since Liberation Day in April. But every month since April, we've had more evidence that Canada is indeed winning the trade war. We had another one from Statistics Canada recently. This one was published in The Logic. I'm going to put it up there so you can see. Our sales to the US have dropped by $13 billion. All right. That's losing a customer, but it's losing a customer because the customer is being irrational. Let's just be honest. So $13 billion less to the US, but we've more than covered that by selling to the rest of the world, which is exactly what Prime Minister Carney said he was going to do. And if you add up all the rest of the world sales, those are 18 billion. So we're selling more to the rest of the world than we've lost from the US. This is the first 9 months of 2025 compared to the first 9 months of 2024. So it's not the full year, it doesn't give the full picture, but it is a good indication of where things are going. We are diversifying faster than we're losing market share in the US. And here's the unique thing. We only face a trade war on one front, all right? Canada only faces tariffs on its exports to one country, the US. The rest of the world doesn't have a trade war going on with each other. So when we sell to the European Union, or the European Union buys from Indonesia, or Indonesia sells to Vietnam, none of them have like a trade war going on. So they've all lost this big customer because the US used to be the biggest customer. And now they all have that big gap that they have to fill by trading with each other. So this is not just a Canada thing. The rest of the world is doing similar stuff. I've seen India reach out to China for the first time in decades for a good trade deal. So yeah, the rest of the world is plugging that gap that the US has left. And the US consumer or a US business faces trade wars with everyone. Like if you're an importer, no matter where you import from, there's some sort of tariff on it if you're based in the US. If you're a consumer in the US, no matter what you buy, It's becoming more expensive. So this is way worse for them than it is for us, because we're only fighting this on one front. Secondly, 2026 is going to be the year of a major breakthrough, because USMCA has to be renegotiated, and by the time we get to that stage, Trump is going to lose tremendous momentum. He's going to lose his Supreme Court case, which will make it impossible for him to put tariffs anymore. He is going to lose the midterms, at least in the House. If he loses the House and the Senate, impeachment might be on the horizon. All right, so this man is not going to be as politically powerful by the end of 2026 as he was at the start of 2025. So we have two possible scenarios. Either we get a good deal, which is very similar to the deal that we have right now, which that's the baseline. Like the current USMCA trade deal is a fairly good deal for us. So if we get something that's closely resembles that, as close as possible to that, that's a good outcome. Or we get a bad deal, but it's temporary, because this guy isn't going to be in power forever. So even if we get a bad deal, as long as we can put a time limit on it to say, hey, let's renegotiate this in 1 year or 2 years or 3 years, yeah, that's all we need, because in that time he is going to lose a tremendous amount of power. And by 2028, whoever the next president is, we're just going to have to take a chance with that. We're just going to have to get a better deal there. So either ways, Canada is going to come out on top, no matter what happens next year. But I'm hoping for a good deal. Let's see how it goes. You'll know by June. Anyways, thanks for watching. Happy New Year. Have a great day.
Yeah, welcome back again to the channel, and the reaction you've just watched tells us a very interesting story. People from completely different countries, different cultures and backgrounds keep arriving at the same conclusion. There is something about Canada that's keeping exceeding expectations, folks. Some fall in love with the breathtaking sceneries. Others admire the diversity, the sense of community, or the simple kindness they receive from the unknown people from Canada. It's not just one viral video anymore. It's a pattern that's becoming harder to ignore. But folks, that alone doesn't mean Canada is perfect, like every country. It faces real challenges. That's normal. But despite those challenges, millions of people still describe Canada as the place they'd love to visit, they love to stay in, or even call it home. That's a reputation very few countries can maintain. Now, here's the real question. Has Canada quietly become one of the world's most admired countries? Or is it the internet simply falling in love with the Canadian dream? Folks, I won't talk much. I've just seen for ourselves. People are admitting that Canada is the best country to be. Others are even postponing their time to go to their countries because of the warm welcome, the nature of Canada, and the peace they are having in Canada. So folks, for today, share your thoughts in the comments. I read them all and I'll enjoy this video. And if you enjoy this video, please don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, or turn on the notification, because we have got more fascinating stories about Canada, America, and the world coming to our way. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.